Many seniors think that walking is enough to stay strong and independent. And while walking is great for your heart, it does very little to build strength. That means that even if you walk for miles every single day, you're still at risk for losing strength and muscle mass. In this video, I'll show you 5 simple movements that you can use to build strength in ways that walking can't. But first, I want to share a little story. I saw a patient recently who walked for 2 miles every day for years. But the reason that she came to see me is she was finding it increasingly difficult to get up from low chairs or couches or get out of the car, especially after she had been sitting for a while. And what we found is that she had spent so much time focusing on walking that she had neglected strengthening. And so that's what we're going to focus on in this video. And the first exercise is actually to help with standing up from chairs, and that's a squat. If you're just starting out or if you're having difficulty getting up from sitting, you can start just by doing sit to stands, reaching back for a chair, and then standing back up, reaching back and trying to just slightly touch down, but don't sit all the way, and come back up. Now, a few things to keep in mind with this, especially if you do have some knee pain, is that you don't want to push your knees forwards when squatting. You want to think about reaching back for the chair. So if we turn sideways here, you're going to reach back for the chair, stick your bottom out, touch it lightly, and then drive your hips forward. So think about hips back, hips forward, rather than bending at the knees. Your knees will bend as a result of sitting your hips back, but you don't have to conscientiously think about it. One thing you will likely have to think about, though, is not allowing your knees to buckle inwards. So as you are squatting, you almost want to think about driving your knees outwards. And it's not that you're intentionally trying to become bow-legged when squatting, but the natural tendency is for them to collapse inwards. And so if you think about driving them outwards, you'll probably stay fairly close to neutral. So again, reaching back for the chair, driving the knees out, keeping the knees driven out as you're standing back up. Now, when you can do 10 times sit to stand rather easily, you may be ready to progress lower than the surface of the chair, but the technique will be pretty much the same, sitting back as if there were a chair there, and then going as deep as you can comfortably. You don't have to get down this deep, but if you're able to get down into a full squat, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, even if you do have some knee arthritis. So that'll be the second step, sitting back into a deeper squat and coming back up. And then when you can do 10 repetitions of body weight squats rather easily, then it's time to add some weight. One easy way to do that is with a goblet squat, holding the weight up like this, kind of like you're holding a cup or a goblet, and then just sitting back with the same technique, thinking about keeping your weight through your heels, driving the knees out to the side, and going down as deep as you feel comfortable going, and coming back up. So that's the first exercise, the squat. The next exercise will help you with picking things up from the floor. And many people believe that it's bad to bend forwards, but bending is a very natural, functional movement, but you don't want to do it by rounding out your lower back. And that comes in the form of a hinge, where you stick your hips back, much like we did with the squat, but you're keeping your knees relatively straight. They don't have to be completely locked out, but you want to keep the knees relatively straight with this one, back in a neutral position, so not excessively arched, not excessively rounded. And then pushing hips back, hips forward, hips back, hips forward. This helps you to pick things up off of the floor. You can add weight to that by doing hips back, grabbing a weight, hips forward, hips back, hips forward, hips back. If you want to, you can do it with 2 dumbbells as well. You start with them in front of you. It's usually easiest to come up kind of like a squat the first time. Hips back, legs relatively straight, hips forward. This is referred to as a Romanian deadlift You may hear it abbreviated RDL. But the movement is the same, hips back, hips forward. You're using your glutes, your butt muscles, and your hamstrings to do the movement. Your lower back muscles are really just stabilizing, but they're not doing the work as if you were going up and down like that. So make sure you move the hips, hips back, hips forward. So that's the second exercise, the hinge. The third exercise is a push. And many people will do push-ups, either wall push-ups or countertop push-ups, and those are great exercises. But if you think about the amount of times in real life that you actually push things like that, it's fairly few. And even when you're pushing open a door, you're usually bracing with your arms out like that and pushing with your legs. Or pushing a lawnmower, you have your arms out like that and you're pushing with your legs. So a horizontal push isn't really functional to the way that we operate in real life, but a vertical push is. Lifting things above your head, dishes into the cabinet, or if you're going on vacation, lifting a suitcase up into an overhead bin. So for this one, we're going to do an overhead press using dumbbells. Now, one common mistake that I see people make when they're doing an overhead press is one, they allow their shoulders to go into internal rotation like that. And that's not good on your rotator cuff. Even if you don't have rotator cuff pain yet, it's still a good idea to keep your arms back like that in slight external rotation. So you want to think about cranking your wrists and arms backwards to where your elbows are in front of you to start. And then you don't want to end up where you can see the weight out in front of you like that. Because if your arms are up where you can see them, it means they're not vertical over top of your head. So start with the elbows out in front of you, finish where you can't see the weights over top of your head. With weights, it would look something like this. You lift the weights up here, elbows out in front, finish with the weight up over your head, come back down, and then repeat that 4 repetitions. The next exercise is a pulling movement, and this is going to be a bent over row. For this one, you'll only use 1 dumbbell at a time, and you'll stabilize with your opposite knee and opposite hand on either a weight bench or 2 chairs if you don't have a weight bench. You'll grab the weight like this, bring your leg back to where you're not going to hit it with the weight, and then pull your elbow towards your side. Now, you're not thinking about pulling with your arm here. You're actually thinking about using your hands as hooks, squeezing your shoulder blade back. So starting the movement by shrugging your shoulder blade backwards and then continuing elbow to side. And again, your hands are just kind of acting like hooks. But this is really a back movement. It uses the muscles between your spine and your shoulder blade, and then the muscles between your arm and your shoulder blade to pull the elbow back towards the side like that. You're not thinking about pulling using your biceps with this, although they do get involved to some extent. So again, you're going to start by pulling the shoulder blade back, bring the elbow to your side, and then come back down. A few common mistakes with this are, one, pulling way back here. If you hyperextend your shoulder like this, it actually pushes the ball a little bit forwards in the socket, and that can start to pinch on your rotator cuff tendons as well. So just pull the elbow to the side, but you don't have to go way back there. Another common mistake is over-rotating and using momentum and rotating at the spine. But this exercise actually helps you to stabilize your spine as well. Since we're only using the weight in one hand, gravity is trying to pull you down in this direction, and you're actually using your spinal stabilizers to help hold your spine in a neutral position while you move the weight. So again, stabilize with the spine, pull the shoulder blade back, continue by pulling the elbow into your side, but not very far past, and then come back down. Shoulder blade and elbow, back down, and repeat that 4 repetitions. Now the final exercise is going to work on the side-to-side plane of movement. You'll notice most of the exercises that I showed so far, and most exercises in general, are in this front-to-back plane of motion. With the bent over row, we did a little bit of stabilizing against rotation, but in this one, we want to help keep a neutral spine and help prevent side to side. So for this, we're going to do a one-arm farmer's carry. And the way you do that, you grab a heavy dumbbell in one arm. Gravity is trying to pull you down that way, and you're using your muscles on the opposite side of the trunk to help keep your spine in a neutral position. And then you're just going to walk back and forth for as long as you can hold the dumbbell. So this works on your grip strength in the arm that you're holding the dumbbell with, and it also works on your core strength, again, your side to side stabilizing muscles. When you've tired out, switch the dumbbell to the opposite hand and repeat again for as long as you can until you feel like the dumbbell is too heavy for you to hold on to, or if you start having pain before then stop sooner. Now, a couple questions just in general that I get about these exercises and most exercises is how many sets, how many reps, how often? It really doesn't matter how many sets and reps you do. You can get stronger, but you want to work pretty close to where you're fatigued, to where you couldn't do more than 1 or 2 more repetitions if you tried. So whether you do 15 repetitions and you couldn't possibly do 16 or 17, or whether you do 5 repetitions and you couldn't possibly do 6 or 7, then you're getting pretty close to fatigue. So it's more important that you work your muscles close to fatigue rather than how many sets or reps you do. As far as sets, for beginners, often 1 set of each exercise on 3 days per week works pretty well. As you start getting more advanced, you may have to move up to 2 to 3 sets to continue to progress. But for most people, strength training 2 to 3 days a week is enough. And then it is okay to continue walking. Again, walking is great for your heart, and overall recommendations are to get 5 days of aerobic exercise for about 30 minutes each week. So this isn't to say don't walk, but if you only rely on walking, then you're going to miss out on some strength benefits that you absolutely need. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you'd like to learn more tips to improve your strength, check out this video over here. But before you go, if you found this one helpful, make sure to give it a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you get notified of my future tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.